guys, welcome or welcome back. Today's video is just more showing our progress of starting back in the saddle. Obviously last year we couldn't make as much progress as we hoped, but this year we're moving kind of rapidly. So we had a few problems to start with because she didn't want to walk downhill. To overcome that, we kind of had to do lunging and having a leader with us, which is why step one is get a confident walk. There's no point planning loads of riding lessons and loads of different exercises if your horse won't walk. You can see she's chilled out, she's happy now. It took us a few goes to get there, but thankfully, she seems kind of happy. She's happy to walk uphill, downhill, both reins, which is why we then added in poles. Now, we had to adjust the size to make it fit her stride because she wasn't that confident. But we put in 5 poles so that she had to keep picking up her feet. That again helps with that confident walk that we're after. See, she's relaxed, she's submissive, she's chewing and licking. We changed the rein as well. The thing with Carrie is she gets super bored very, very quickly. That means you can't do the same exercise too many times. Now, don't forget that we're also equally trying to strengthen her up during this, not just gain her mental confidence. We also tested the brakes. That's something that I keep forgetting to do. So just make sure your horse stops, especially if you're so focused on making them more forward going. So she's nice and happy. We're trying to keep things interesting, changing the rein. As many poles as possible is kind of ideal because it's the best way for them to pick up their feet. They don't want to kick it that much. I mean, they might knock it once or twice, but you can see she's getting relaxed about it. It's helping her figure out her stride. And then it's just a case of repetition. This was probably one of the more boring parts because she became a little bit dead to the leg. She wasn't really that interested, you can see. She's focusing on other things that are going on. But it's just something that was necessary for us to do to pick up her confidence and gain her muscles. I mean, there are different ways you could do it. If you have more poles, you can create different obstacles, but this was the most efficient way. We did, let's say, a riding session that would be about 20 minutes maximum, so she wouldn't get too bored, but as you can see, it is just picking your feet up, going round and round, changing direction. If you can try and not be predictable, that's like the best case scenario, because we tend to fall into habits and then the horse figures it out. And then they stop listening to you, really, because they're just predicting what you're going to ask rather than actually listening for what you're asking. You can see that I'm trying to get her used to listening to me, not just with verbal cues, but also with where I'm looking. So I'm trying to position my body, position my hands, position my head, all of that, so that she gets used to the feel of the different aids that you have as a rider. So she's totally unschooled. This is all new to her. But that's all we could do. Once we've got the poles down, we can then start working on the trot. She got too bored after like 4 or 5 sessions. So it was a case of asking her to trot, which is something I was a bit nervous about in terms of her responding to me rising. So you can see we've moved position in the field, and this is because she just became dead to the leg near the poles. She just assumed we were going to walk. So here, the reason it's on quite a small circle is because I'm mimicking what we do, which is lunge. That way, I didn't have to ask her by kicking her, not to start with. It was just that 3, 2, 1, and trot. So she knew that off by heart, and that was the best way to get her going into trot and get her used to it. So you can see it's a very awkward trot. I'm very awkward. But we only ask for a few strides at a time. It's supposed to be as calm as it can be. So we would keep trying on different reins, and you can see there I asked her to just go a little bit more because, again, we weren't getting a proper trot. But now, bonus bit, we're managing to do trotting poles. So you can see already how much more forward she is, how much more relaxed she is. We started with just 3 poles. I mean, actually, we started with 1 and that, but in terms of actual trotting poles, put 3 out to start with, just so that she could figure out that rhythm and that rise and fall. And you can see she's perfectly happy. She's going for it. She's chilled out. Easy to ask. And then we moved up to 4 poles. And you can see still, she's super chilled out. It's also important to do it on both reins as well, just to keep them chilled out, even though it is straight. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little catch up of our riding progress, and thanks for watching.